Good morning. Welcome to Viewpoint, your program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. With a little different format this morning, our guests are going to call in. Compliments of Ma Bell, or I guess down here it'd be Verizon. In any event, we have one of them standing by. Patti, if you'll wait just 1 minute, please. I have a very important kudo here this morning. We have some youngsters at Lincoln Junior High that made the first quarter Students of the Month. And I want to tell you who they are because it's important that we all know that these bright young folks are achieving and doing well. We start with Millie Hurley, Mackenzie Plummer, Peyton Bunner. I wonder if Peyton's related to a fellow, a classmate of mine named Aubrey Bunner. In any event, Isaac Weinbrenner, Roy Snyder, Elizabeth Rempe, Lucy Stolzenberg, Skylar Wilson, and Caleb Reddy. Congratulations to all you, 9 of you there, made the Students of the Month at the Lincoln Junior High, and I think we ought to recognize that. And at this point in time, let's. Are you prepared, Mrs. Busby, to go right ahead? We'll let Mrs.
I hope so. One can only hope. One can only hope.
All right. Patti, you go right ahead, my dear.
Hi.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine. How are you?
Well, we're all confused up here. Number 1, my car wouldn't start. Number 2, Judy wouldn't start. And number 3, Bill can't get started.
So we're in a middle of a hash. Patti Becker is with Eaton Corporation and has once again nobly taken on the job of the United Way of Logan County. It's Thanksgiving. We have so much to be thankful for.
Yes,
and
we do.
Many of us want to share with those who maybe aren't quite as lucky. And the United Way of Logan County is an excellent thing to do.
Yeah,
Patti, give us a rundown.
Patti, may I have a co-host prerogative here for just a second? Patti works with Eaton Industries. She's been with them quite a while. I'm not going to tell you how long because that would age her a little bit. But in any event, seriously, Eaton Industries is a very, very, not only for their nice payroll here, but Eaton Industries has always been a participant in community affairs. And as a representative of Eaton, Patti, I want to doff my fedora in your direction. Anytime there's something going on in the community, Eaton is right there firsthand. So I think they deserve a big kudo too. So now let's go right ahead, Mrs. Busby.
They certainly do. I'm actually retired from Eaton. I worked there for over 30 years.
I didn't want to bring that up.
A sweet young thing like you. I have kids your age, Patti.
I'm very proud of having worked there and having been a part of that organization. And you're absolutely right. They do so much for this community, and they do a lot for United Way, and they deserve a lot of kudos. They help a lot of people in our community, not only with employment and tax revenue, but also with generous contributions through their foundation and through the local plant. So they're a great asset to Lincoln.
Well,
they've helped United Way.
I go back to Russ Hahn's days, so that'll take you back a day or two.
I've been around a while, yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Mrs. Busby, if you knew why you're sitting
No, Mrs. Becker, we want to go ahead, please.
Well, first of all, thanks for letting us do a little talk about our organization on your show, and thank you for having your show, and congratulations on all your kudos over the last few months. You guys you do a lot for the community as well, getting some information out there to everyone, and we appreciate that. And the United Way has been around for a long time, as you know. Since we've been around for a long time, the United Way has been around for a long time. Over 60, I think about 68 years. I don't remember the exact date. I don't have it in front of me, but it has been a part of the Logan County community for a long time, and we have the privilege of working with nonprofit organizations that just do so much for our community, and we have some long-standing relationships with the Salvation Army, Community Action, a lot of organizations that make an awful big difference. So we're able to help them financially through the United Way was founded on the belief and the reality that, if all of us pitch in a little, we can help a lot. And all of us at some time in our lives, need a little help. And then many of us are fortunate enough to be in a position to help. So when we're in a position to help others, it's a great thing to do. And then when we need help, it's nice to know that there are organizations out there that can give us some help. So through our relationships with big organizations like Eaton is huge. Caterpillar, even though they're not in Logan County, we have people that work there. Exelon in Clinton, they run campaigns and allow employees to do payroll deduction, which makes it easy for them to give. And then we're able to distribute those funds to nonprofits in our county, and then they don't have to worry so much about fundraising. They still have to fundraise, but they don't have to worry so much about it because they have a little income through the United Way and get a little help. So they can focus on the good work that they do helping people. And this year in particular has been such a challenge with COVID.
Oh my, yes.
They've had, not only could we not do fundraisers because of COVID, there were some big fundraisers that our partner organizations couldn't do, we couldn't do. So they also had a larger demand for services because people needed help. They couldn't work. There were all kinds of challenges this year, and everything was very different. So we were able to, continue to help through our United Way. We were fortunate we didn't lose a lot of payroll deductions. We didn't have layoffs in the area. So we still had a pretty good the income stream that we counted on. So we were able to help them. We also were able to get some additional resources that were made available to United Ways through some state funding, and pump about another, I think it was about $25,000 in total from those grants that were available through our association with the Central Illinois United Way and a COVID resource fund that they had. So we were able to help a little extra this year too with that funding, which was provided by the state and then just administered by United Way. So that helped a little bit with rent assistance and that kind of thing. So it's been a busy year. It's been a good year. The total grants that we were able to give to 14 different organizations, in addition to the $25,000, was about $82,000, and that's different for every organization. Meals on Wheels, Capsule Transit. There were 14 different agencies that we worked with this past year. So we're very grateful for that and all of the community support. And we were able to do a couple of other good things this year. We started on a small scale. We received a grant from the Illinois Prairie Community Foundation, and we're able to start the Dolly Parton Library. Are you guys familiar with that program?
No, could you give us a thumbnail sketch, please?
Yeah, it's a program that Dolly Parton founded many years ago in her hometown, based on the fact her father could not read or write. He was illiterate, and she saw how that crippled him, and so she started the Dolly Parton Library because she realized how important it is for kids to read, particularly to be introduced to books before they start school so that they learn to love them. So she started a program where she sends a free book to every preschooler that's registered. It's birth through to age 5, every child under age 5. And it's free of charge to the family, and the child receives a book in their name that's age appropriate every month until they turn age 5. So she has grown that now throughout the world. As a matter of fact, I think they're right on the cusp of having sent 150 million books across the world to children. So there is, of course, a cost to the program that it's about $2 a book, so it's very affordable. With that grant and working with Hartsburg Emden, Nicole Folkman over there, who works with the Hartsburg-Emden School District. We were able to start it in Hartsburg-Emden, and now with other generous donations, we've been able to expand that to New Holland, Middletown, and just recently Elkhart. So any child in those areas can go online or call me or send me a piece of paper or whatever to sign up their child as long as they're under the age of 5, and then we start this program to where they receive the books every year, and of course every month. I'm sorry, and then of course that our hope is that will, of course, grow the love of books and learning and help in their education and futures, as they get into school. And that is the purpose of the program. It's also been proven to be very effective in the communities where it's been introduced. So we're really excited about that.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, that probably falls to your lot, is learning about these programs, such as this Dolly Parton program. Mm-hmm. That would take a considerable amount of dedication.
Well, it's United Ways across the country are partnered with that program. It's a program I learned about quite a while ago, and I've really wanted to bring it to Logan County, and we still don't have the whole county covered because we have to make sure, that we can, once you commit to a child, you're committing to 5 years of books, so you need to make sure you've got, a good foundation. But people love the program, and so we get a lot of support, so that's great too. And while I have a minute, I also want to let you know that we're also getting ready to bring 211 to Logan County, which is another program that a lot of communities have. If you're not familiar with it, it's an emergency, just like 911 if you have an emergency with your health or, need the police or whatever. 211 is a resource that people can use to call if they need help, financially, or need to find a social service or an organization that can help them in any situation with, financially, or if they need health care or psychological help or anything like that. We are getting ready to partner with PATH in Bloomington. They already have a system up there, and we're getting ready to bring that to Logan County, so that anyone in Logan County can just dial 211, and if they have a question about someone that can help them or where they should turn, because a lot of people don't know where to turn when they need help, and there are a lot of organizations out there that can help, but people just don't know where to go. We get calls from time to time, and I'm aware of some of the organizations that can help, but of course not all. So they have a great database. They have trained volunteers that can answer the phone and get you in the right direction with a lot of experience. So we're really excited. We don't have it quite, the database quite ready yet, but we have the phone system ready, and hopefully within the next few months we'll be announcing that that's available. So we've been able to do some things this year that hopefully will be beneficial for the rest, for many years to come. So, and we'll continue to grow those. So,
yeah, that's another beautiful idea. My gosh,
Patti, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm looking up there, I'm looking way up there, and I'm seeing George Garr smiling down on his daughter, proud of her involvement in the community.
Well, thank you.
That is, we all know about the United Way and all this business, and we kind of have a tendency, it's just that time again, and maybe write a small check, and maybe not a small check, maybe a bigger one, but anyway, then pass it off, and we're going on to the next thing. We don't realize that United Way is a 365-day situation here in this community, and certainly you and your employer, Eaton Industries, are a huge factor in the success of that in this community. You mentioned the Salvation Army. How do you determine percentage-wise who gets what of whatever we take in?
Well, our process is every year we have them go through an application process, and they they give us a request, what they're requesting, and then they let us know why they need that amount. We look at their budgets, we look at their income, and then our board of directors makes the decision based on what we think we can raise, and then what we look a lot at what the impact is on the community, how many people are affected, what the overall effect is, and make decisions based on that, plus their need and their whole budget. Everybody has different budgets and different needs, and some of our organizations, such as Meals on Wheels, they actually get some matching funds from government organizations based on what they raise in the community. So, we take a look at that too, if there's a greater financial impact because of what we do. So it's based on that, and we can't give every request, we can't match every request, and we can't meet every need, but we have to make those decisions based on what we think the biggest direct impact is on the community and how many people are affected by it. So that's basically how we take a look at it. And every year it's different, so we never know how much we're going to be able to raise and how much we can kind of give out. So that's how we make those decisions.
We appreciate your, number one, your calling us in this morning. We more than that, we appreciate the time and the thought that goes behind what takes place in United Way here. Patricia Becker, we thank you very much for visiting with us this morning, talking about the all-important subject of United Way. And I'm not sure who Judy has lined up next, but I'm just going to back off here and take a second and let her work that out. Thank you, Patricia, very much.
Thank you, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Nice to speak to you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you for all you do.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, that was very nice. That was a local girl, made good, and still making good on behalf of the community. That's the important part. This is a giving community, and people like Eaton and the associates are employed. As she said, this is an employee deduction program, so the employees out there can contribute as they like on a payroll deduction, which is a very nice thing to do. So we thank them very much. Now, go right ahead. I'll throw the baton to you. Do we have another caller coming in at this point in time?
In a perfect world, yes.
In a perfect world, and we'll hope that caller and tell us who that is. So.
Well, we are hoping at 1:30 here to talk with Rachel Oney of the Salvation Army. Now, Ms. Becker just referenced the Salvation Army and the good work they do.
Red Kettle time coming up.
It's here. Here.
Go right ahead, Rachel. You call in whenever you're ready. We'll stand ready to be interrupted. I was just going back to the days of my callow youth, and I remember seeing the Salvation Army band, 3 or 4, standing on Kresge's corner. Kresge's, for the benefit of you people who don't know, was a dime store. And we had 2 dime stores in Lincoln, one in the corner and one in the middle. Woolworth and Kresge's in the same block, imagine that.
Yeah.
And so Christmas time, they would put on their bonnets and their men would shoulder up their drums, and they'd go out and play a little concert on the corners and hope to get somebody to drop some money in a red kettle. Now those days are gone. Perhaps in the bigger cities, I don't know. But in any event, now we depend upon volunteers such as Rotary and Kiwanis and other organizations in the community to come up with volunteers for the Salvation Army, stand out there in front of our stores and ring the bell. So I hope you folks will recognize that and be generous as you pass those little red kettles. As they do, so does the program for the year. That is their major fundraiser for the year, as we all should know if we don't. And they're in need of... now, Patti just mentioned Meals on Wheels.
Yes.
How important that has to be for people who are receiving that help. that's a wonderful thing. It's a godsend. We have said, watched our set in the comfort of our home, watching our boob tube, and we see these cars lining up, car after car after car, to pick up some food. There's a great need out there, obviously, and
a greater need because of all the people who've lost their employment.
Yes, that's another thing. Dining out, of course, has been pretty much curtailed. But if and when you do go out, be a little extra generous with your tips for those folks that are waiting on your tables. Their income was dried up.
Yeah. Well, just the tip of the iceberg is the program she's mentioned, and of the three, I can't imagine which I'd choose as the most important. You know, they're just great programs, and it's an easy way to give. And bless Patti Becker's heart for doing this.
Well, listen, she's been involved in that for a long time since she's been with these.
That's right.
I can't believe she'd been with them that long. I just dated her. Now wait a minute.
Define your terms, Bud.
I define my terms here. That dated her because I didn't realize that she'd been with us that long. It's only yesterday when I remember they broke ground out there for what was known then as Cutler Hammer.
That's right. That's right.
And they consistently brought back some big bucks to this community.
Oh, thank God for them, yes.
Eaton has been an important part in the giving of this community.
I have a member of my family who works there.
She works there. You had time for this. We'll take time now for a commercial. Maybe for our other caller, we'll find time to call in. Go right ahead, Jim. Right ahead, Aaron. You're on.
Welcome back to Viewpoint. Bill Gossett and myself are here, and our next guest we're going to be speaking with is Dr. Susan Harmon. She has long been active with the Zonta Turkey Dinner, another organization that we in Lincoln appreciate. So, Susan?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Judy. I'm very well.
Good morning, Dr. Harmon. How are you this morning, my lady?
Hi, Bill. I'm great. How are you doing, you and Jean?
Well, we don't know. We just wander around looking at one another. She's at one end of the apartment out there, and I wander around my end. So, we look forward to Wednesday mornings when I can break out of the bubble.
Oh, dear. Well, how long have you been affiliated with the Zonta Turkey Dinner? It's been quite a while, hasn't it?
Well, I came to Lincoln in 1991, and I joined Zonta Club of Lincoln in 1992. So I've only been here about 6 months longer than I've been in Zonta. The turkey dinner predates me, though. The Club of Lincoln started in 57, and the turkey dinner started in 65 with a dinner that was at the Knights of Columbus downtown where Abe's Caramel Corn is now.
Uh-huh.
Doctor, I'd like to go back in history just a little bit, and let's define Zonta. We all know about Rotary and Kiwanis and these other service organizations. Zonta has been with us for a long time. It's a ladies-only organization, as I best understand it, and they do a lot of philanthropic work in our community. So take it from there, if you will, Doctor.
Thank you, Bill. Zonta is kind of a secret local organization. We haven't been as in the public eye as we hope to do, except for our turkey dinner. Everyone knows about the Zonta Turkey Dinner.
Oh, yeah, that's always a big value.
So Zonta International started in 1919. This year was supposed to be our 100th centennial anniversary for the international organization, but that was canceled. But in the Zonta Club is to empower women through service and advocacy, and it started as a professional organization, and lots of things were done here in Lincoln in the 1960s. they did a program to put the parking meters downtown and to teach women how to drive. They did a driving course for women at the time who did not feel comfortable driving.
Is it too late for Judy this morning? She drove up this morning. I'd like to enroll her in that course.
In 1965, as I said, they started doing the Zonta Zupper, spelled with a Z, and did a variety of foods, including turkey. And about 700 people walked up that narrow enclosed staircase to the second floor of the building that's now Abe's Caramel Corn downtown. Mm-hmm. If you can imagine that.
Yes, that was the old days.
And they made a profit of $450 that year.
Well, that was a pretty good piece of change for a first time around, don't you think?
Yeah, for 1965, yes.
Yeah.
So we are sponsoring the Central Illinois Blood Bank and Head Start and the Lincoln Logan Food Pantry and the Logan County Court Advocate for Victims of Domestic Violence. We've been active with supporting them, but our main goal for our money that we raise from the turkey dinner is for scholarships. Mm-hmm. It has varied throughout the years, and sometimes it was a health career scholarship, and sometimes it was co-ed, and now we're focusing mainly on women. But the first scholarship was given in 1981 to Dr. Don Seeloff.
Oh, for goodness
is that right?
Yes.
That scholarship came back home to roost then, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It worked out well for Lincoln.
Yes,
it sure did.
So we've given about 100 individual scholarships since in the 37 years or so, 38 years since we started giving the scholarships. And it has varied on how much profit we make on the turkey dinner.
Oh, yes, right.
Now, how is that going to be impacted this year, Doctor? We have this business running around the whole world, not only right here.
Right.
That impacts crowd.
We couldn't do it in person, obviously, and we thought of several different ways. We were going to try to sell the pans of dressing, because I know that's, other than the pies, that's the big hit at the turkey dinner, but we couldn't make that go either. So we've had to make a virtual fundraiser, and we're doing that on Facebook and GoFundMe, and then also we have an account set up at the State Bank of Lincoln in Lincoln.
Now,
the title is the Zonta Club of Lincoln 56th Annual Turkey Dinner Virtual Fundraiser. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping to raise $5,000 so that we can continue to fund our scholarships this year, and also give money to local organizations.
You mentioned, too, food pantry, and I have a good friend, Carolyn Webster, who's involved with a food pantry, and they are doing a land office business. I think times are darn tough for a lot of people.
They certainly are. There are many people who, work in service industries that are impacted much more by this pandemic, because they can't work.
Yes.
And they can't bring home money to feed their families.
That's right.
Dr. Harmon, may I ask a personal question regarding your profession?
Yes.
I want to be very careful. This has to have a huge impact on each and every doctor in their private offices and wherever they have offices. Notwithstanding the fact that the hospital calls and so forth, you all have to take extra precautions. What kind of an onus has this been for you folks in the medical profession?
Well, the hospital and the Memorial Physician Services that cover family medical for us old-timers, and then Springfield Clinic of Lincoln, all of them have been really excellent in making sure that we have our personal protective equipment. We have those, pappers, those head things that blow air so that we're not exposed. So we're very, very lucky here in Lincoln that we have such great organizations that provide us with the materials that we need to take care of all of you. But personally, I have been isolating myself from my, greater family since probably February.
My goodness.
So I haven't been with my father, my father-in-law, my brothers and sisters-in-law, cousins. I haven't seen anyone, and we're not going anywhere tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
A lot of people are
Christmas,
making that decision.
We will not. And
This gives
I know
me an
that
entree.
it's very, very hard for lots of people to consider not being with their family that they don't live with, but I am personally highly scared about what's going to happen in 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I can appreciate that,
Oh,
particularly. This gives me a chance to make a comment, another kudo, if you will, please, Judith and James and Doctor. I live at the Christian Village now. Gene and I have been there since a year or so. And they are doing a yeoman's job in trying to keep their hand on what's going on with this COVID business. And apropos of what you just mentioned about going out tomorrow, those who want to do this, the Christian Village is going to deliver meals to our apartments. So we don't have a need to go out anywhere. And I think that's an extra step. It's a huge step that they're taking, and I just want to doff my hat in their direction for going the extra mile for those of us out there who are, quote, confined, for want of a better word. I really think we had an opportunity to go to Chatham to be with family down there, and they have 3 little ones. And I don't think we have any business doing that, and we're not going to do that because I don't want to expose anybody. So these are different times right now. Doctors, your patient load, how has that varied?
Well, in the last 2 weeks, we're seeing probably 50% of our patients in the emergency room are patients with COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah.
And probably 80% of them have to be hospitalized because their oxygen levels are too low.
Yeah.
That is the defining characteristic of when you get in the hospital and when you don't.
Well,
So,
yes.
and the bed situation is very terrible. There are few beds. We're having to go beyond Springfield to find beds for anyone, not just the COVID-19 patients, but heart attacks and strokes and urinary tract infections and all those other things that we put people in the hospital for. We go through Memorial in Springfield, St. John's, Decatur, Passavant in Jacksonville, Broman, St. Joseph, and then St. Francis in Peoria, and Unity Point in Peoria. We've sent people to Carl Hospital in Urbana, and we've sent somebody to Ottawa, Illinois.
My goodness gracious. Well, I know a handsome young fellow. I'm sitting here looking at him, and he got pretty sick for a while ago. And Danville was the closest place. That's
Quincy.
90 miles away.
Quincy.
That's just about 90 miles away. And that was the only hospital that was open at the time.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know exactly how many units of wings of COVID patients Memorial has right now, but I think they're up to 5.
Oh my.
And we just they don't have the staff to fill anymore. And the patients that are sick with COVID-19 require so much extra staff time, and they're sick. And we don't have a lot of treatment, so we just hope for the best.
And you know, by the time Thanksgiving is over, and you referenced the fact that about 3 weeks from now there should be quite an upsurge in the number of people who are suffering from this, by then you'll be hot on the heels of Christmas, and that will make it even worse.
Yes, exactly. I don't know if you guys are following the numbers in Logan County, but we were pretty low for a long time. We were just hovering in the 200s maybe of cases in Logan County, and less than 5 deaths. And today we're at 1,445 cases and 11 fatalities.
My goodness, right here in Logan County. 648-5510. While we have Dr. Susan Harmon on, we brought her on not to discuss COVID and the medical field, but we brought her on to talk about all the great work that the Zonta Club, ladies organization here. By the way, you mentioned that's a secret organization. Can I get the password? Let's talk about this Thanksgiving, the annual. How are we going to serve this again now, please?
This is a big fundraiser for on Facebook and GoFundMe, and if you want to send a check to State Bank of Lincoln under the name Zonta Club of Lincoln, Turkey Dinner Fundraiser.
Oh, that would do it. And let's just don't hang up the phone now, folks. Let's remember to do something about that before this day is out. First thing you know, tomorrow's going to be another holiday. That'll be my 97th holiday. I couldn't imagine I'd make that many. Because I don't remember what the rest of them were.
You're just a miracle, Bill.
Dr. Susan Harmon, do you have any closing comments you'd like to make, please, regarding Zonta and all the great work you do?
Thank you so much. It's today is actually the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. And it starts the Zonta Club 16 Days of Activism. So you'll be seeing some things about Zonta Says No to Violence Against Women. And then I just want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to continue to empower women and girls through our service projects and our scholarships.
Could you expand a little bit on that, if you would, please, and thank you? Because some of us have that to be thankful for, too. We haven't been abused people. And I think we don't...
Well, I did glare at her once or twice.
And rightly so. But this is really an issue in our society. And what do you do for these women?
Well, the Sojourn House in Springfield is the domestic violence shelter for our area, and they fund a court advocate here in Logan County, and she goes to court and helps women fill out orders of protection, and sometimes children are, infants are suddenly put into the foster care of their grandparents, and they have no wherewithal to get diapers and formula and those sorts of things. So we have been giving money to the court advocate, and through Charlie Lee at Lincoln IGA, he's just such a wonderful person.
Is that?
To fund people, if they have no other recourse, then they could buy diapers and buy formula for children who are suddenly, in foster care or suddenly out of the house because of a domestic violence situation.
I'm aware that with school having been an off and on thing for quite a while, that's a strain on parents sometimes, and there has been an upsurge in the abuse of children. And I'm sure with people being cooped up in their house and not having employment, maybe, the upsurge in the abuse of women would be the same story.
Yes, it is. This is a very stressful time on all of us, but particularly if you are stuck at home with your abuser and there's limited money coming in, and it's a powder keg.
It is. And have you noticed an upsurge in the abuse?
I can't really speak to that.
Well, lucky for you.
We understand. Well, Doctor, we this is about the second or third time we've tried to get you on to talk about Zonta and so forth, and you've been very accommodating, letting us push you around, if you excuse the expression, so we can get you on the air. It's very, very important. The Zonta is just one of those little quiet organizations that goes about their business doing a lot of things good in the community. And so kudos to them while we're doffing our hats in the right direction. We appreciate very much, Dr. Harmon, your time this morning, your insight, and things that you and Zonta do. Thank you very much, Dr. Susan Harmon.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks, Judy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that was very interesting insight. The Zonta Club is, they're just not getting the public relations, the PR work that they ought to get, because they just quietly go about their way. Kind of like the Elks, I'm going to use this term, crippled children's. Can you imagine that in today's time? I use the word crippled child.
Yeah, that would be verboten today, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. But for years, that's been one of the reasons why the Elks has been such a great fraternal organization. That's been their charity down through the years. My father served on that commission, for goodness sakes. So that tells you a long time ago. And down through the years, they've seen youngsters at the local hospital and treated them. Dr. Hugh Cooper from Peoria used to come when I was a kid. I remember that name for no reason at all. For no reason whatsoever, except I remember hearing my father use it. Mm-hmm. And they would treat crippled children. Mm-hmm. And down through the years, they've done a whale. And, which, of course, now, on a national basis, the members of the Shrine organizations,
yes,
their Shrine hospitals, of course, yes, my goodness, they do a tremendous amount of work. So 648-5510, if anybody has any closing comments, before Mr. Ash throws his hand on the switch.
Yeah. Long ago and far away, when I was in school, I had a friend who was also a neighbor, and she was born in Canada and grew up in Minneapolis, and Molly was a crippled child, and she went through the Shrine hospitals and was able to walk, which may sound like a simple thing to you unless you weren't able to walk. Then it's not so simple, and they did a yeoman's job too, which brings about the fact that tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And one of the things we should add to our list are the people like Dr. Harmon, etc., who step up to the plate to help people who are having some sort of problem in our society. And thank God for them.
Amen to that. As we sign off, we will acknowledge the fact that we have a traveling critic. Lois Harvey up across
Yes,
Wisconsin checks on us on a weekly basis by virtue of the electronic. She sits there and watches on what Jim Ash puts on the computer, and then she reports back. She has high remarks for my partner, Mrs. Busby.
Let's tell her happy Thanksgiving along with everyone else.
Yeah, Judy and I wish all out there a Thanksgiving greeting to each and every one of you. Always remember somebody else has a little more problem than you do. And there's another one of my favorite charities nationwide, the Wounded Warrior Program. I always sign off with think of the Wounded Warriors. Great impact on a lot of people. Thank you very much for Viewpoint. Enjoy your day.